Still singing, Dave. Five.
Hey, Sean Boonstra here with the Adventist Review. We've got a couple of programs for you today. We're still going to do the recap. The day ends a little bit early today. We'll do the recap in a little bit. But before we get to that, I wanted to sit down with Danny Houghton, the president of ASI. And just in case, Danny, somebody has been living under a rock for decades, what is ASI?
ASI is a combination of two important groups in our church. One is a self-supporting ministry group of people. The other one is a group of entrepreneurs and business owners that come together that integrate for mission.
All right, now I know you've been in this role. I've loved ASI. Honestly, I know full well what it is. I'm there every year, but and I have been for, I think, 30 years. I've been going every year, except for one. And you've been in this position for a really long time now, right?
About a month and a half.
About a month and a half.
So it's a new one for me. I will say, I think I've got you beat because it's my 42nd in a row that I've done on a national, going to the national. 7 years old. 7 years old is when I first started in 1983, Guntersville, Alabama. So I got you beat.
I'm doing the math. That means you are about to crest the hill, sir.
You're very close.
About to crest the hill.
Very close.
Now, you know, one of the big themes we're seeing here at Annual Council is integrated for mission. I know that you were presenting in breakout groups during the LEAD conference.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about ASI and its role in global mission and the mission of the formal church.
Sure. Well, ASI, you know, you go back to our roots and you look at the way ASI was founded under the counsel of Ellen White with Sutherland and McGann. Really, their goal was mission and integrating with the church in the local field, but doing it in a way where they were not actually on the salary. They weren't on the payroll, but they had a very specific goal of wanting to support the church. So this idea of integration is something that's built into the DNA of ASI. And so as we look here, this theme of integration, it's really encouraging to me to see that all of a sudden the desire is for us to start singing from the same song sheet. And sometimes, you know, it's felt a little bit fractured. So it gives me a great deal of courage to see the focus on integration here at GC Session.
Fantastic. So, you know, you've had 6 weeks to contemplate your role as the president of ASI, but talk to us a little bit about some of the initiatives that ASI is working on, some of the things you guys are thinking about in supporting your church.
Well, one of the things that excites me the most is actually the work that we're trying to define better and put some thought, effort, and resource into, which is our AI focus. We put together an AI committee that is pulling together both ministries from the church side and supporting ministries from the lay side. We put together a committee where we're working hard to try and define ways that we can leverage AI for ministry. And one of the first things that we're working on is to try and put together a unique Adventist data set. And the idea behind that is to create a data set that can then be used to innovate off of. It's a lot of work, there's a lot of challenges there, but we have a history as a church, and ASI specifically has been involved in this, in leveraging media and new things that are coming from an innovative perspective in media for mission.
Okay, so unpack that a little bit for maybe somebody who's just kind of become aware in the last 2 years that AI is a thing. What do you see as the potential benefit for the work of the church, for our mission, using AI?
Well, when you think about the idea of pooling all of the work that's ever been done from a publishing perspective, from a media perspective, and thinking about topically organizing that, looking at it and putting it in different languages, and presenting it in a context that can be very hyper-specific to an individual that wants to witness. If you're able to put that together and package it in a way, and I don't know what that looks like yet, so this is still somewhat
AI
theoretical.
already knows what it looks like because it's already anticipating all of this.
Exactly.
Our overlords have arrived. I'm kidding.
But the idea is to say, how can we marshal everything that's been created to further the gospel and contextualize it for an individual church member to be able to utilize for activating in mission? That's what gets me excited.
You know, I'm just thinking about this. I once worked, not in the too distant past, at a media ministry where we had 80 years of recordings, and I had a vault that was probably 50 feet long, and it's tapes dating back to the 30s.
Yes.
And something like that would be one of these components we could feed in there. So you got HMS, right. I just gave away the ministry, but everybody knows it. HMS Richards, for example,
Yeah.
somebody's looking for something and say they're studying the Second Coming. They would get what so-and-so said and what the pioneers said, and oh, here's an HMS contribution to the topic you're researching.
Yes, and then you think about taking that and translating it into a local language that may have never had that before. You know, these are all potential capabilities that we come in to think about and brainstorm and say, this is something that really could push mission forward meaningfully for our church.
Any caution tape around the subject of AI?
Well, yes. The idea is, what are you going to let into that unique Adventist data set?
Right.
And this is where I think, too, AI can be instructive for us, because if you're able to put a small group together potentially that can police that and monitor that to make sure that we know that it's doctrinally pure, that matches, you know, what we believe as Seventh-day Adventists, and make sure that what comes into that bank is the right thing. And this is where, you know, you type on ChatGPT and you can find out, oh, somebody thinks God is a female, for example.
Right.
You know, there's some weird things. We want to be able to exclude some of those elements so that there is a purity of doctrine as we're accessing these data models, so that we can trust as it comes through.
So if we're talking about that, there's a data set for Adventists. Is there any thought about working toward making sure that something like ChatGPT also sees Adventist content? In the old days, we used to try and make sure that when somebody Googled Seventh-day Adventist, it was the truth that came up and not disgruntled folks and that kind of thing. Any thought in that direction?
I don't know. You know, that's an area that is still new to me, certainly.
AI knows.
Any place that you know, Adventism is exposed, even in AI, we want to make sure that it's proper, but that would be something that we should explore for sure.
Anything else you want folks to know about ASI? If they want to become involved in this organization, how do they do that?
Go to www.asiministries.org. You'll be able to find anything that you're interested in learning about. We do have a very interesting video there on Trailblazers, which is about the history of ASI, and we would love for you to explore and learn a little bit more about us as an organization. Thank you for that.
Danny Houghton, president of ASI Ministries, here at Annual Council. Thanks for joining us.